Put that back in your pocket.
I was working part-time in a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee. He told me several times that he didn't like my kind, 'cause I was a bit too leisurely. It seemed that I was busy doing something close to nothing, but different than the day before. That's when I saw her. I saw her. She walked into the outdoor.
All right, sing it if you know it. Raspberry Beret, the kind you find in a secondhand store. Raspberry Beret. Did you just do a falsetto? Oh my God. Oh boy. And it's going already as it is. Great. Well, good morning and happy Saturday to everybody. Welcome to your weekly dose podcast. Yes, we are the only podcast that pays homage to Mark and Brian. So for all those Mark and Brian listeners who missed them, this is the show for you. I am your host, Sean Roberts, along here with Steve Silva.
Heidi-ho, everybody.
And, of course, Phoebe Lim's with us as well.
Hi.
Are you eating?
She's doing something, that's for sure.
What?
Are you eating?
No, I'm putting gas in my car.
Oh, my God.
There it is. That's
Wow.
why.
Okay.
I'm at the Costco putting in gas in my car.
Fancy.
Wow.
And, of course, we also have the lovely intern, Skylar.
Hi.
And, of course, the ever so gorgeous with his flashing blue eyes, producer, Zach.
Hey now.
Oh, yeah, love that deep voice.
Hey now. I mean, this voice?
Hi there.
Oh, you rascal.
Well, of course, we're coming to you live from Orange County, California.
Thank you for joining us this week. If you're a newer listener, welcome, because it's always nice to see our listener base grow. If you're a regular listener, welcome back, because without you, we could not do the show. So again, thanks for coming back every week.
Boy, that doesn't sound like you're reading it at all, Steve.
No. If you'd like to
Great
join
job.
us on the conversation, play the game, whatever, our phone number is 562-449-3798. You can call and talk to us or leave a message or just tell us how great we are.
And, of course, we would love that. But, of course, see, the joke is going to be on them because
yes, it is.
Right now, as we're recording this, it's actually Thursday night that we're here.
It is?
But
it feels like Saturday morning.
But they're going to be listening to it Saturday morning. Because we're kind of taking the day off to a degree.
I got up, came on the bus. I'm here. It's Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, guess what, buddy?
That's because you're in your own little world, Steve.
As
I
always.
guess so.
And I'm the mayor of my own little world.
Oh,
That's my old person voice.
Well, we
I
definitely.
thought it was Steve, so you did a great job.
Cool. Not trying very hard.
Well, we definitely got a big show for everybody because we've got a couple of things that we're going to talk about, presidential code names, and then something happened on Friday that has to do with our special guest. And the reason why that we're actually recording tonight, Thursday night, but you guys are here Saturday morning, is because it's an hour-long deal. So we thought, you know what, we'll take the day off. We'll just kind of pre-record everything and then play it on Saturday. So everybody has a day off for Saturday.
So now I got to figure out what the hell to do on Saturday.
You can still come over.
Oh, I could?
Yeah, you can still come over if you want.
Oh, boy.
You know, I won't be here, but you can still come over.
Can you imagine just,
What are you going to do?
Sean, you there?
Exactly.
You said I can come over, but you're not here.
But anyway, but we got a wonderful interview with a legendary artist, Trini Lopez. So we got that in store for you guys. So it was a wonderful interview. We had a great
so
time
much
with him.
fun.
It was. It definitely was.
He's funner than we are.
Especially right now.
Really.
So don't forget that you can interact with the show by commenting on our website, yourweeklydose.com. Tweet us at yourweeklydose1. Find us also on Facebook or email us at yourweeklydose1@gmail.com. And once more again, you can also follow us on Instagram at yourweeklydose1.
And I believe you could download the show for free from our website. You can also subscribe to the show through iTunes, Podbean.com, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and, of course, iHeartRadio.
You realize you said I believe you can download, so there's doubt?
Well, we're talking about Steve downloading stuff.
Oh.
So that's the big difference.
I believe they
Now,
can do
He
it.
doesn't
believe-
know.
you
He
believe in
doesn't
him.
know how to do anything.
See,
It's
other
like magic for him.
I don't know.
Did you hear
I've
Phoebe?
never watched anybody do it, so
Did you hear
How would I
Phoebe?
know?
Basically, it's magic for him. He doesn't
Yes.
know. It's like this thing that he's heard of from a faraway land.
we got magic to do just for
Oh my
you.
gosh! Well, we played "Raspberry Beret" by Prince only because it's National Raspberry Bombe Day.
Raspberry
Bombe.
bomb.
That's what
does
it
that
is.
mean?
Bombay.
Yeah, or is it Bombay?
I think it's Bombay.
I don't know.
Well, there's an E.
Calling Dr. Bombay. Calling Dr. Bombay.
Well, if it's French, it's just bombe.
See, told you, dummy.
Raspberry
I don't know if
bomb.
it's French, though.
Neither do I. So yeah.
What the heck, Skylar? I thought you speak French to a degree.
No, she just
I
kisses
speak
her.
French, but I don't know if that is the particular French word that they're talking about.
The
I think that
particular
that's a
French
French
word.
word. Oh, shut up.
I pick on you because I love you.
I love it. She just called you a
Uh-huh.
bitch from over the phone.
That's
I
because she's
didn't.
not
I
there.
said shut up.
And even if she was here too, she would still find a way to like probably hit me or.
Well, that's just it. See, that's the thing that you're lucky on right now.
A
is that
dictionary
she's not here to
says-
smack
I
you.
can't flick anything at him this time.
What do you want me to throw at him?
Bomb is a
I
frozen
don't know.
dome-shaped dessert.
Wait, here, I got something
Like
for him.
something paperclip sized.
Oh shoot, that didn't even work. Hold on.
Just make sure. Oh, he's gonna
Can
do
you
one of those.
throw-
Hold
Can
on.
you throw a French fry at him?
A French fry?
Yeah, because we just have that. We
Yeah.
happen to have that
Yeah,
right
because
now.
Lord knows, yeah, because you know I have those handy so much
I think
downstairs in the
Phoebe's
kitchen.
hungry.
Don't,
Oh,
Sean. Whatever you do,
yesterday I
don't inhale those dusters. That's a gateway drug.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Oh, Steve, you were saying
Dude, I
the
had-
Yeah,
I
dictionary.
had McDonald's. What?
So you wanted to read something from the dictionary.
Well, no, bomb is a frozen raspberry or dome dessert.
Yeah.
But is it pronounced
Oh.
Bombay?
No, it's bomb.
See, told you.
It's either a M or a B, but not a A. So it's bomb or bomb.
You know what? For me, it's Bombay.
And-
It's funner for me.
In Europe, it's called bombe glacé.
Wow.
Glass.
Okay, anyway.
More you know.
Well, let's catch up with everybody.
Oh, in Polish, it's bomba.
You know what? Just look it up in every country for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Phoebe, let's
Yeah,
start.
give him something to do.
Yeah, Phoebe, let's start with
Sean
you,
will like
sweetie. So, what's been going on with you this past week?
Just working today. I had dinner. Albert's relatives from Korea flew in.
And boy, are their arms
for-
tired.
Yep, they had a bit of a workout. But they flew in, and Albert is cooking up a storm with some steak and some salad stuff for some like an American cuisine, whatever that means.
So basically, hamburgers and
so-
hot dogs.
No, it's straight up steak and
Oh,
salad. Yep.
wow! And once again, we're not invited.
Yeah, sick invite.
Gee,
I mean,
thanks,
I
Phoebe.
know. I had to step out from it, but I got his feedback. But yeah, that's what it is. It was tonight, and then just been working. And that it's been pretty low profile, just doing wedding stuff actually.
Cool. And how's everything going
Yeah.
with the wedding so far?
It's going well. Our budget keeps getting higher and higher,
Yeah.
and it's like, how are we gonna pay for this?
I got news for you. It's
That-
going to continue to get higher.
Get higher,
So-
baby.
You
Get
know,
higher,
we're trying
baby.
We're trying to keep it under budget, but I think we're busting through it a little bit right now, and we're gonna have to break it a little bit, but we're still making do what we can, and fingers crossed that everything goes well.
It's
That's
probably
my
that
hope.
caviar stuffed shrimp that you're getting.
Yeah,
Caviar
I think
stuffed
I have to go. I think I have to go away with a live octopus show. I think it's costing too much. So I'm just kidding. No one got my joke. Everyone thought I was being serious. I'm not having a live octopus show.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thanks for telling us.
Okay. You know, if you just go to Vegas, it just costs gas.
Yeah.
I know.
And she's got a full
Oh
tank
my
right
God!
now.
Is it a bird just pooped on my car?
That's what you get.
Oh, so great. Anyway, that's the update. Literal update of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
There it is.
Yeah.
Car wash? Yes.
Hey, cool. Well, last week, all of us, we actually had a wonderful time at the Orange County Fair, so we need to bring that up.
We did. Yes, we do.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was phenomenal. We had a blast. We got to meet some listeners, and of course, Craig Berry and his wife Amy stopped by the booth and said hello to us and everything. So that was awesome. Got to play the game with us. Now, Jack, you had to leave a little early though, huh?
Yeah.
Because what did you have to do?
I had to go to I guess it's considered Norco.
That's just north of Corona, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's off
Okay.
the 15 and we're
Norco.
I know, but most people say it's Corona, but for me it's Norco because you take the 91 to the 15, you get off at like 6th Street, taking Hamer all the way down that way.
But did you take a left at Albuquerque?
I was going to do
No, I did not make that left turn at Albuquerque. Here we are, Pismo Beach at last.
But it was for my 12-year-old cousin's birthday, and I got her. She's obsessed with some guys called the Dolson twins or something Dolan twins on YouTube. First time I heard, it's like I framed a poster for her and wrapped it up, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool," because she was like trying to be all cool in front of her friends. Like, I don't care.
Oh.
I'll admire this later. And so I just stopped by, and they got a whole bunch of barbecue food for the party, and got to hang out at the pool.
Nice.
And not get sunburned. I used a whole can of suntan lotion on myself this time.
Nice. Good boy.
Yes.
Good boy.
Yes.
Because otherwise
Good
you'll
job.
look like a lobster. Now, both Phoebe and Skylar, both of you two, you guys took off afterwards also, but you guys stuck around for the fair for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you girls do?
With Grace.
So we
We
went.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say Grace was with us for some of it. And so Grace really wanted to ride one of the insane rides. So we rode this thing that's like a giant pole. And they stick people on both ends of it and like spin it around.
You rode the giant pole?
That sounds like
Shut up,
actually,
Steve.
that sounds like right up Grace's alley.
Yeah, she was swearing like a sailor the whole time. I was really concerned there were like little
that's
kids
probably
behind us.
we were sitting
I
in
had it
the.
on video. I got it on video. Them
Oh my
screaming
gosh.
Their heads off.
Okay,
There's
you
a
got-
bar
Yeah.
deck we were
Okay.
sitting on right where it was spinning around. We were watching that
Okay,
thing.
Phoebe, you need to post that then on our Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The video. Yeah, post the video
Dude,
on the Facebook.
it was super fun. Grace was like swearing the whole time. I was cracking up. And then apparently after the ride was over, a kid got off and went and threw up right in front of Phoebe.
Do you got that on tape?
Yeah, literally.
No, I don't want to see that.
I was sitting on the bench waiting for them because I knew I was like not feeling good from all the fried food we ate on the show. And I was staring off, and then literally right in front of me, this guy runs up and throws up in the trash can.
He had a fifth of
And I was
vodka before
like-
he came to the fair.
And then his friend came running behind him with his phone, be like, "Oh!" and then he was filming him throw up.
What, bro?
And then, like, I was like, "Ooh, bad moment, bad time." And then his friend was like, "Yeah, I don't think it was a good idea for him to ride the ride after eating like 3 corn dogs and a turkey leg." And
You
I was
think?
like,
Oh my
"Ooh."
gosh.
Why don't you ride a washing machine next?
Come on down to the
Yeah.
fair. Come on, bro.
That was good. But then,
Yeah, but after that it was
afterwards,
pretty
we-
mild.
Cool.
Yeah, we went to the Ferris. No, we went on the Ferris wheel after Grace left, but we rode that long air swing ride, whatever.
It's like a ski lift, but there are no skis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing that just kind of, the Skyway thing.
Phoebe, what did you
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it?
I have no idea what it is called. It's the air.
Neither do we, that's why I asked.
Thing.
The airway
I
thing.
totally don't remember what I just said. We can play it back. I'll find out on Saturday when I listen to what I said.
Oh, my God.
And then we went to see the goats and the animals, and then the butterfly conservatory thing was too crowded, so we just passed on that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I
too
listened
bad.
back to
But,
I listened back to the show. One of the things I laughed the hardest was Phoebe was like, "I want a butterfly to land on my finger."
I know, I have to go back just for the butterfly experience.
She wants so badly to have her Disney moment scene.
Butterflies.
But
Well-
yeah, Skylar,
I'm right there.
afterwards, we were gonna, I'm totally blanking on what happened that day.
Well, that
You were,
just
like,
shows you had a good time.
Very tired at the wheel, and I was concerned about you, and so we got Taco Bell.
Oh yes, I was like,
'Cause that's a
almost
cure.
falling asleep driving back, and then I was like, you know what? I think I just need some real food in my mouth because definitely Taco Bell is real food. So
It's artificial real food.
right. So then I was. Skylar's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's pull over. I'm gonna get some Taco Bell." So we ate some Taco Bell, and then it was very good. And then we went home. I dropped her off and went home.
Cool.
Yeah. We got the I don't know if you guys have seen those ads for the nacho cheese fries that Taco Bell has.
Which are the
Yes.
funniest commercials ever. They put such a
There's-
huge production into those, like a
they,
movie
like,
trailer.
are pretending it's like
But
a movie
it's
trailer.
so
Like
good.
honestly, they were
it.
worth it. They were so good.
All they are cheese fries.
No, all it is. Look, I was talking to my roommate about this last
It's
night.
fries and nacho cheese,
Yes.
but it's brilliant.
And then I love how
It's so
Taco Bell's
good.
advertising going like, finally back at Taco Bell, nacho fries. Like, it was gone. Like, didn't that just get introduced this year, like 2 months ago?
I don't know.
They did it earlier in the
I
year,
don't
and
know,
then they
but
brought
they
it
were
back.
so good.
I just love when they
was
advertise
really
that.
good.
It's gone, but now it's
They had to change them. Too many people throwing up.
I'm so glad I'm not hungry right now.
Well, I must say though that you guys missed a great concert
Oh yeah.
I saw the pictures.
because Roxanne, thank God for her.
Roxanne.
Wow,
Wait, we're not
guys.
supposed to
I knew he
say,
was gonna do
right?
it.
Anyway, so Roxanne was nice enough to get us tickets to go see the show, which was the Fab Four, and it was a pretty special show also because the fact was that it's also the 50th anniversary of the Yellow Submarine, the movie.
Yeah.
So they played all the songs from the movie in order, and they had a full-on orchestra on the stage as well.
Yeah, they played
Wow.
all of the music.
shoot.
Yeah.
The total
That's
soundtrack.
amazing.
So yeah, it was really, really cool. Now the funny part though is that where we were sitting, because basically I'm sitting all the way house right with Roman, and Steve and Karen were sitting all the way across on the other side house left. So we didn't really get a chance to sit together for any of it. For any of it though. But no, it was a great show though. I mean, what do you
It
think,
was
Steve?
really cool. I loved it.
Did you and Steve hold hands?
Were
They
you not here
couldn't.
for
They're on opposite sides of the concert.
What are you listening
I mean,
to?
I'm sorry. I meant you.
Wow.
I was trying
Wow.
to make a joke, and I
Saying
just
that they weren't able to talk next to each other the whole time. That's what he just said, Zach. Come on.
Yeah, Zach. That's it. Get him, Phoebe.
okay.
Get him.
That you admit that joke would have been funny if it was Steve and Sean standing next to each other. That would have been funny, and they were holding hands.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone's not listening. I'm just kidding.
And he's in the room.
Uh-huh. I know.
We're going to
He's
be
over the
putting out a
phone.
new ad for a producer
For Zach.
That's fine.
with an emphasis on the ability to listen.
Just wait for you to screw up again, and then I'm going to call you on it.
Okay.
Wait, guys, I am having so much fun, but I do have to get going. I'm so sorry to
Okay.
shoot out loud so
All right,
early.
Phoebe. Okay, no worries. Have fun. Enjoy the dinner.
Okay, but I will see you guys next week.
Yes, because next week we're going to be doing the Hot Sauce Expo.
Woo!
Which I'm going to buy a whole bunch of bottles
Gonna
of
be
stuff.
hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
I'll see
okay.
you guys later.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's too funny. Too funny. But no, yeah, you guys missed a great concert though with the Fab
man.
It
Four.
was just, it was so much fun, and everybody around us was having a good time and enjoying it. And all this music that you don't get to hear in concert. Not that many people got to hear it when the Beatles were actually touring.
Well, they never
and-
toured with it because
Yeah,
it
I
was.
mean, they just
it was
well,
the
this particular concert. No, but I mean their songs and seeing them in concert. It was kind of fun to see this because it was like seeing them without all the screaming.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the good part.
Yeah. Well, what was nice though with the Fab Four and what they did though is they came out and did early Beatles stuff first.
Yeah, they did.
So they came out, in what we first initially saw them in, like in '63 and '64, and then they kind of segued into a little bit of the Rubber Soul mode a little bit, and then they segued right into the whole soundtrack for Yellow Submarine. And Roman got extremely excited because
Oh, really?
Eleanor Rigby is one of his favorite songs now from the Beatles.
Oh, wow.
He just loves the whole thing about that.
Eleanor
So when the four of them came out and they got the orchestra behind them and they're playing Eleanor Rigby, he screamed like, "Yeah!" So
Like those teenage girls in the 60s.
pretty much, yeah, that's what it was for him.
Oh,
so
that's funny.
So he really enjoyed it, and for him,
awesome.
it was really cool because it's something that has never been done before, by anybody for that matter. Because they said it was the first time that they had an orchestra to do this soundtrack of Yellow Submarine. So, have you ever seen that movie though, Skylar?
No, I haven't. The weird thing is my dad doesn't like music at all unless it's like Mozart. No, he doesn't like Mozart. He likes Bach.
Is his name Coco?
I don't know what his thing is with music.
How about
he just doesn't.
Tchaikovsky?
I don't know.
How
All
about
I know is that he likes
Beethoven?
Bach. He doesn't like Beethoven because Beethoven was crazy.
So wait,
Anyway.
his preferences are based on their mental states?
Yeah, but he also thought that
wanna meet
Mozart
your
was
dad.
crazy. It's confusing. He's a weird dude. I love you, Dad, if you're listening. Anyway,
But he's crazy.
so
But he's crazy.
he never introduced me to the Beatles, and my mom, despite loving a lot of other popular bands slash duos slash people from that era, like Simon and Garfunkel, blah blah blah, etc. She wasn't really a Beatles girl either, and so I didn't grow up listening to the Beatles, and so I feel like I have this huge hole in my childhood, and I'm slowly filling it, but I haven't gotten
You know what?
there.
Don't feel bad because it's funny because that whole thing was a little bit past my parents because my parents graduated high school 57 and 58, so they were at the beginning of rock and roll. So for them, they're more into Chuck Berry, Rick Nelson, early Elvis, all the early doo-wop groups and everything. So by the time by the time the Beatles came around, they were in their early 20s, somewhat mid 20s, whatever. So it's not that like it was above them or whatever, but they just didn't get into it because it wasn't their thing. Because at that time it was more for the teenagers who wanted to see
Yeah, well,
them.
my parents were kids in the 60s.
That is
So-
weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Stevie, you got into the Beatles fairly.
Oh, yeah, the very first album I ever owned
Yeah.
was Meet the Beatles.
Okay, yeah. So for my parents, it's a little bit. So I didn't get introduced into the Beatles really until, in all honesty, I think probably until.
Last week.
No, shut up. No, I want to say no, it wasn't when John Lennon died. I think it was in the mid '70s because of the movie Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band with Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees and Steve Martin, which was a tribute to the Beatles, which I did not know at all. And so, but that was my introduction to some of the songs of the Beatles because I kind of recognized them from hearing them on the radio. Because my parents would listen, especially my dad would listen to KRLA. So, of course, they played some, early Beatles stuff. So that was kind of like my introduction to it. But I really didn't get into the Beatles hardcore until John Lennon passed away. Which was 1980. So I was 10 years old at the time. And that's when I really dove into the Beatles and really got into them and go, okay, I get it now. So can you breathe a little bit more heavier? Because that's turning me on. I love it. Everybody just got quiet.
Is it windy where you are?
Who?
You.
Oh, me? Really? I had my phone. My phone is actually overheating a little bit,
So
and
you're,
so I'm holding it away from my face, but I'm holding it closer
Careful,
to my mouth.
it's
so
gonna explode soon.
are you blowing on it?
That sounds like something else.
Actually, that sounded like from Sgt. Pepper
Ah.
and Day in the Life.
Okay, moving
Grab my coat,
on.
grab my hand.
Zach, how
Made the
was your
bus
week?
in
Seconds flat.
Hold on.
Zach's ready to get into this too.
Okay, here we go. All of the presidents, when they take office, have to have a code name. I don't know why. Just boys playing their silly games. But anyway, here are some of the code names for some of the presidents in the past. Let's see. President Truman was best known as General.
I can see that, yeah.
Lyndon Baines Johnson was assigned the name Volunteer.
That's interesting.
Volunteer to. Okay.
Oh, did they have JFK's? Because I know what his was.
JFK, yes, was.
His was Lancer.
inspired by
Well, the whole Camelot thing.
Lancelot.
Yeah, Lancelot.
And what was JFK's nickname?
Jack?
Jack. Well, it's going back to the names.
Oh, yeah. Dwight Eisenhower was
comeback.
scorecard and Providence. He had 2.
Wow, they couldn't decide?
I guess so. George, I guess one was whether he was gambling or not. George Bush's name was Trailblazer. Obama was now he selected
Trailblazer W.
He selected this from a list of names that the Secret Service provided him. He wasn't into nicknames.
Oh, okay.
Renegade.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
weird.
funny.
Yeah.
I thought it would be. Did you guys ever see the video of he was like, "This is my birth video," and then he played the intro to the Lion King. And then he clarified afterward. He's like, "Fox News, this is a joke." I thought it would be the lion.
That is not funny.
Simba. Heavy, yeah.
Or Simba, yeah.
Okay, Clinton's nickname was Eagle because he was involved with the Boy Scouts.
wow.
And other things, too.
I like this one. Ronald Reagan was known as Rawhide.
Oh, yeah, all the Westerns that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's cool.
The Western films.
H.W. Bush was Timberwolf.
Really?
Kind of cool.
Interesting.
Now, this one I
These are
don't
cool
understand.
names.
Timberwolf on the location.
Well, yeah. Carter was Deacon because he was deeply rooted in Baptist faith. Gerald Ford
No
was
comment on that.
I'm sorry, what?
I just laugh. It's like Jimmy Carter. We just all got quiet after. He's like, "Man, no comment on that one."
Oh, well, no, he's a dude just done a lot more after his presidency than during.
Yeah, he was a very weak president, but a very strong
Foreign, yeah. Well, he helped.
foreign service person.
Well, he's helped
yeah.
all the presidents afterwards,
Yeah.
especially with the Foreign Service, yeah.
Nixon was Searchlight.
Oh, good God, that goes well with Watergate.
That's funny. You might have well changed it to Watergate when they could. Gerald Ford was called Passkey.
I could kind of see that. It kind of goes in with, well, don't forget, he pardoned Nixon, too, so there's your passkey.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so there you go with
This
that.
all seemed like they were
Yeah.
post.
I left one off.
Yeah.
Why?
The big Cheeto?
Yeah.
Is he on there?
Unfortunately.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Cheetos are orange, so I'm just gonna put two and two
It
together.
should be rump.
Yeah,
as
it should
far
be
as
right.
I'm concerned.
But
How about hump?
Well, when I first read it, I thought, "Oh, that's appropriate." I thought it said mongrel, but this comes from his ego. Mogul.
okay, well, yeah, prior because of his real estate bullshit or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that makes
all bullshit.
that.
that makes
He
sense.
has all that money, and he
So-
owes plenty of people money, and he's never going to pay it. That's how you make my life great.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Before we go into our next segment, which is our interview with our guest, something happened on Friday that we did not know until the following day. I called Steve on it. He's laughing his butt off. And I think, Skylar, you're going to get a kick out of this. So Friday night, and it's interesting, and when you hear the interview, Trini Lopez talks about it, that he doesn't get up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, number one. Okay, he just doesn't. He sleeps all night through or whatever.
Sometimes even 2.
Yeah, sometimes even 2, and that's him sleeping in. And so...
He's a night owl.
Yeah. And so he gets up at 1 o'clock. We had to call him anytime after 3, because I guess it takes him that long to get ready. So we did the interview this past Friday with him on this. And however, Friday morning, this news event came out. Trini Lopez, dead, 2018.
Well, I don't know who we talked to, but he was a damn good impersonator.
Well, news
for
of singer Trini Lopez's death spread quickly earlier this week, causing concern among fans across the world. However, the August 2018 report has now been confirmed as a complete hoax, and just the latest in a stirring of fake celebrity death reports. Thankfully, the singer that is best known for his hit "If I Had a Hammer" is alive and well. Rumors of the singer's alleged demise gained traction on Friday after a RIP Trini Lopez Facebook page attracted nearly 1 million likes.
Oh my gosh.
Those who read about the page were given a believable account of the American singer's passing. At about 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Friday, our beloved singer Trini Lopez passed away. Trini was born on May 15th, 1937 in Dallas. Will be missed, but not forgotten. Please show your sympathy and condolences by commenting and liking on this page. So that's...
You know what's so funny?
What's that?
I've pulled up an article on, it looks like it's the same article, and it looks like the site that posted that changed the date of his death.
Oh, really?
To this past Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
To try and get more support, I guess.
Wow, that's
How
interesting.
bizarre.
Yeah, because I'm reading Friday. Yeah, so this, basically hundreds of fans immediately started writing in their messages and the condolences on Facebook page, expressing their sadness and that the talented 81-year-old singer was dead, and as usual, Twitter sphere was frenzied over the death hoax itself. But how ironic, though, that it would be that Friday morning at 11 a.m. this happens, and we interview him that night.
Well, maybe they just got confused because he doesn't wake up until after.
I know.
You know,
He's still asleep.
we waited until he
He
woke
might
up.
be dead because it
So
was 11 o'clock.
He was dead, and then he woke up later and talked to us.
He's a vampire.
There you go. So
Once again.
exactly.
And his code name is Grace.
Well,
Steve's so proud of himself with that.
he is.
Look at that.
He definitely is.
He threw himself back.
Lord knows that was funny.
Knee slapper.
So we are going to now play for you our interview with Trini Lopez. We can't say enough about this gentleman. He is a living legend. And it was such a pleasure to speak with him overall. He answered all of our questions and everything, was very wonderful about it, very gracious with the whole thing. So let's go ahead and play that now.
Let's do it already.
Here we go, Mr. Trini Lopez.
If I had a hammer in the morning, a hammer in the evening, all over this land. I hammer out danger, I hammer out a warning, I hammer about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I had a bell, I ring it in the morning, ring it in the evening, all over this land. I ring out danger, I ring out a warning, I ring about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, sing it in the evening, all over this land. I sing out danger, I sing out a warning, yeah. I sing about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I've got a hammer and I've got a bell. Now I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, yeah. It's the song about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Yeah, 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 yeah. All over this land, ooh, all over this land, all over this land, yeah, 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 yeah.
Alrighty, our guest today is truly a living legend. His career spans over 60 years. He started out as a guitar-slinging singer who left his home state of Texas to pursue his musical career in Hollywood. He was signed to Reprise Records by Frank Sinatra, and 2 years later, he would start his acting career by starring in such films as The Marriage on the Rocks, and one of my personal favorites, I think Steve's too, which is The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
He designed 2 guitars for Gibson, which are now considered collector's pieces. He's toured the world numerous times, performing with other musical legends, including the Beatles, The Ventures, Glenn Campbell, and so many more. With over 70 albums under his belt, please welcome to the program one of my musical heroes and influences, Mr. Trini Lopez. How are you, sir?
Hello, thank you very much. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on our show. We really appreciate it. I can't tell you what this means to me personally, because I grew up with your music. My parents would go see you perform, I believe, at a club in Hollywood called PJ's.
Right.
And they got that album for me when I was a little boy, and I had to listen to it when I woke up, and I had to listen to it when I fell asleep. So, songs like, If I Had a Hammer and Lemon Tree and Kansas City, I mean, all of those were just embedded in my head. So you actually have been a very personal influence on my own music. So I want to thank you for that, sir.
Well, thank you for that very nice compliment.
Thank you. Now, before we get to the nitty-gritty of the interview and everything, the other day when we spoke, you had mentioned that your house was being renovated due to a fire.
Yes,
what
I've
happened
never
with
had a fire. I've never had a fire in my whole life. I've been around the world like 20-some times. I've stayed at all the hotels and beautiful homes and mansions and my homes in Dallas and on, and I've never had a fire until about a year ago here in Palm Springs, of all places.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But they're renovating the house now and so forth?
Yes, they're renovating it now for about a year now.
Oh, my gosh.
My home should be ready. My home should be ready for me to move in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So now you need to have a new housewarming party then.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to do that.
Kind of already had a housewarming party.
Well, Trini, let's go back to the beginning. You're from Texas. Where did you grow up, and what was your family life like growing up?
I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. And my parents were orphans growing up in Mexico, and my father met my mother when he was 18, she was 16, and they came illegally from Mexico across the border to Texas. My father did that 3-4 times, and then about the 4th time, he had enough money to propose to my mom. And so he married her. She was 16 and he was 18. And they came illegally to a little town called Ennis, E-N-N-I-S, Ennis, Texas, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours by car from Dallas. And so they came to Texas to try to better themselves, their careers. They wanted to make more money. And my father ended up having 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys.
Oh, my goodness.
So he had to work as hard as 3 jobs a day.
And where do you stand as far as the oldest and youngest? Where are you at in the family, Trini?
I am in the middle.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle. And I have 3 sisters and then me, another sister, my brother Jesse, who happens to be an entertainer also. And he's a very talented guy.
Wow. Awesome.
Trini, this is Steve, and I was wondering, when exactly, at what age, I guess, did you first pick up a guitar?
Oh, I was about 9, maybe 10. And the reason for that is because I grew up in a real tough barrio in Dallas, a real tough ghetto. I was born and raised in a black and Mexican ghetto, and I was getting in trouble with the guys in the gang that I was running around with. And my father told me that he didn't like that. He said, I want you to be home when I come home from work. And on the third time that I did not listen to him, he took his belt off and he gave me a real good whipping. Yeah. And the next day, to make up for hitting me, he stopped at a pawn shop and he bought a guitar for $12, and he couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford to do that. But he went in this shop, this pawn shop, and bought this guitar. And he said, "Son," I said, "look what I got for you." When he got home from work, and I said, "Is that a guitar, Dad?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Wow." I was kind of surprised because my father was a singer when he was a young man in Dallas. He played violin, he played harmonica, guitar, and he sang and he danced when he was a young boy. So now he had to, come to America to work hard, and he couldn't afford to stay in show business because he had to support his family. So he said, "Son," he says, I want you. I'm sorry that I hit you." He said, "I'm sorry that I hit you." He said, "But I want you to learn." He said it just like this: "I want you to learn something constructive." He said, and he said, I'm going to teach you all the songs that I learned when I was a kid, when I was your age in Mexico. And he did, and I started falling in love with the guitar immediately. And he says, "I don't want you to run around with those guys anymore." And I did not. I stopped that. And because of my dad, because of my father, I went the straight path. And because of my dad, I got into music. And because of my father, everything is all because of my dad and my mom, who cared a lot for their children. They always cared a lot for us.
Yeah.
They loved us very much, and they wanted us to do the right thing in life. To be thoughtful, to be a nice person, to be a classy person, to respect your elders, and on and on.
That's wonderful, Trini. That's so neat.
Yeah.
So with your dad being then a musician, was the rest of the family musical? Did your sisters and your other brother, did they also play any instruments or anything growing up?
The only one that did was my brother Jesse. I only have one brother.
Okay.
And he's about 6 years younger than me, and he has traveled quite a bit in the world, and he has done very good engagements. I recorded him, but nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened for my brother Jesse. But he got married, and he settled down in Oregon. And the only one that sang was one of my sisters, Lucy. And Lucy and my dad, when my father used to work in all these big hotels as a maintenance man, they found out that my father could dance and all that. And every Christmas or every New Year's, they would invite my father and my sister to do some Mexican dances, traditional Mexican dances for the hotels, big hotels in Dallas. And they're the only ones that did anything like that at all.
Well, so were those the florico dancing?
Flamenco dancing,
Yeah, okay.
And real typical mariachi music and all of that.
Trini, you were 9 years old. You started playing. What kind of music were you listening to then? Who were the people that might even have influenced you musically as you started out with this guitar?
When I was when we could afford to have a radio, I started listening to Bill Haley and the Comets.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I started listening to Elvis.
Oh.
And then people that I got to meet later on in life besides Elvis, I got to meet Fats Domino and Little Richard and all those people.
So basically,
I learned a lot of, by the way, I learned a lot of rhythm and blues. In those days, it wasn't called rhythm and blues. It was called cat, K-A-T, cat music. And it was all black artists.
wow, I didn't even know that. Why was it called that, Trini? Do you recall?
Pardon?
Why was it called cat music? Do you recall?
I have no idea. I never asked. And I just loved Fats Domino's music and all these people that were doing very well, but they were only played, by the way, on special stations. They were not played across the board like they say. They were all black music type programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I love their music, and then as soon as the '60s came along, they started getting into the mainstream of music. Fats Domino and Elvis.
Right.
Even Elvis was considered they thought he was a black guy.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
after learning to play the guitar, Trini, how quickly did you form your own band? Were you like a teenager, or were you a little bit older?
I started real young. With a little group. By the time I was 11, I was playing with a real nice little group, and we would play parties. We would play weddings, bazaars, fiestas. We would play in the back of one of those trucks, those 18-wheelers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would open up the back, and there was a stage for us.
Wow. That's pretty cool, though.
And listen to this. We would open up grocery stores.
I believe it. I believe it, because I have heard stories where other artists had done that in the past just to kind of get their career going and to get their name out there and everything.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Now,
So let's just say that I paid my dues.
yes, you have. Absolutely. Now, I read somewhere that you knew Buddy Holly's father. How did all that come about?
Okay, he wasn't his father.
Oh.
It was his aunt. Buddy's aunt was a teacher in high school where I went to high school in Dallas, and she used to tell me about her nephew, that he was a singer and this and that, and then I started listening to him on the radio, and then by the grace of God, he comes to a little town outside of Dallas called Wichita Falls,
Oh, yeah.
Texas, and I was doing a show. By that time, I had a much better group, and I was making a little more money. And I was working at a nightclub in Wichita Falls, Texas, and Buddy was in this little town promoting That'll Be the Day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean Peggy Sue, and the disc jockey, the disc jockey that he went to do his show to promote his single. He said, he says, Buddy, he says, when we finish the interview, there's a friend of mine working in a nightclub here in town, and he's pretty good. I think you would enjoy seeing him. Would you like to go have a couple of drinks and listen to him? And Buddy was a real down to earth person.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Oh man, no problem, sure." So they went to this little club in Wichita Falls, and after the show, Buddy wanted to meet me.
Wow.
So I already knew the disc jockey that he was with, because he's from Dallas too.
Okay.
His name was Tommy Garrett, and we talked in my dressing room, and he said, "Trini, you're pretty good." I said, "Oh, thank you, buddy. My God, thank you." He said, "How would you like to meet my record producer?" I said, "Oh, you're kidding me." He said, No. He says, "If you can make your way from here, from Texas, to Clovis, New Mexico," he says, "I'll introduce you to my record producer, the one who's doing all my hits right now, and he has a lot of connections with record companies." I said, "Wow," and I couldn't believe it. And so a week later, I finished my engagement in Wichita Falls, and I packed my guys in my band. By that time, I had 4 guys and me, 5 guys altogether in the band, and it was Trini Lopez and his combo. I made my way to Clovis, New Mexico, and we stayed in a little motel down right next to the studio for Elvis, where where Buddy recorded, where Buddy was recording all his hits, and we were paying $2 a night at the motel.
Wow.
You believe that?
Yeah, and that's without a reservation too, right?
That's without a reservation.
That's awesome.
And,
so you got the
so there was a party that night, and Buddy said, "Trini, do you mind entertaining us tonight. And I said, yeah, no, you kidding? So I did like half an hour. The next day, the guys in my band, they were all Anglos.
Okay.
You know what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right now, I'm listening to my radio station in Palm Springs, and listen to this.
Hey, that's Trini Lopez on the radio.
That's a me.
I love that. I gotta get a radio station now and listen to
Can you
myself.
believe that?
That's awesome.
That is
It was one
great.
of my hits.
Is
Gonna
it
get it along without you now.
is it weird hearing yourself come out of the box? The radio?
No, I still enjoy it.
Yes,
That's
Skylar.
awesome. So many of us
really
like
enjoy
don't
it,
like to
yeah.
hear ourselves. So that's cool.
So
You like
anyway,
that.
so now I'm in Clovis, and I did a show for Buddy Holly and the Crickets, and they had a real good group there, and we had a real nice party. And unfortunately, Sean, I grew up with a lot of prejudice in my life. I don't know if you know too much about that.
No, I don't.
Chicanos and the blacks were very prejudiced against in the 40s and 50s, especially the 40s and 50s. 60s some, but mainly the 40s and 50s. And my guys in my band were all Anglo guys, and they got jealous because Buddy liked me, and the producer was real nice to me, and he said, I'd like to talk to you about getting you guys a record deal. And my guys in my band got real upset.
That's one question I wanted to ask you, Trini, that we had written down was that obviously there were not a lot of Latino performers in the 50s and 60s. I mean, basically...
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, basically there was Richie Valens, and then you came along a few years later after Richie's passing. And that's one thing I was going to ask you did you get a lot of pushback during your career because of your heritage?
Yeah, because of my being Latino, and the guys woke me up the next morning around 8:00 in the morning. I used to sleep till 2:00 in those days. Now I sleep till 1.
Wow.
Me too.
That's a good life.
That's in the afternoon.
It's fun.
So anyway, they woke me up at 8:00 in the morning, and they got all around my bed, and they said, "Wake up, wake up!" And I looked at them, and I said, "What time is it?" They said, "It's 8:00." I said, 8:00.
Wow.
And I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter? Is everything all right? Did somebody die or something?" They said, "No, no." He said, "We had a meeting. We had a meeting this morning. They got up early, man, to do this." They said, "We had a meeting. We had a meeting this morning, and we have decided to go commune with the group. We have decided to go commune. I'll never forget that word as long as I live." And I don't know what I said. What does that mean, commune?
Sounds like to me they were Catholic also.
Yeah.
And
they're going to
that
be
means
hippies or
community
something.
property.
Yeah.
That's a community. I really don't understand. He said, "Well," he said, "You know, you're the manager of the group. You're the lead singer. You do the lead singing, and it's your band, and it's your equipment, and your car, and everything." And they said, we want to go commune. That means all of us will make the same amount of money, and we're not going to let you sing anymore. All of us are going to sing.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Wait a minute, you guys don't know how to sing." I knew that. I knew that. And they said, "Well, we're all going to sing." I said, "Oh, God." So listen to this. I spent about 8-9 days crying myself to sleep every night because they wouldn't let me sing. We recorded in the studio where Buddy Holly had just finished recording some of his big records. And so as soon as we finished those 9 days of recording, oh, by the way, we did nothing but instrumentals. They didn't know how to sing.
Wow.
But they wouldn't let me sing.
Trini, where do you think this jealousy came from, knowing that, you kind of had the help from Buddy Holly himself?
Okay, can you tell me that in a little different way?
Sure. I mean, here you have this band. You're the leader of the band.
Yeah.
They're getting jealous because you're getting signed, but yet did they not realize that they were going to be a part of this wonderful journey as well?
Well, they were stupid.
Okay.
That's
Enough
a
said.
good answer.
I have to be
Moving
honest
on.
with you.
No, that's no.
They were dumb.
Yeah, because
Because listen to this. I took them all back to Dallas, like a taxi driver, and I ran out of money because I used to give all my money to my parents. So I ran out of money for gas, and I had to call my father, and he sent me some money, and we got in the car, and we're on our way back to Dallas. Oh, by the way, when we were getting the last few dollars for gas, in those days, you guys are too young, but in those days, you could buy a Snicker chocolate candy, a Snicker for 5 cents.
Steve's nodding his head.
I remember that. I do.
Steve's the oldest out of all of us, so he can definitely relate. Yes, Steve's in his mid-60s, Trini, so Steve can
I
relate.
get my last nickel that I had in my pocket, and I get in the car, and I started to eat it, and they grabbed it from me. They said, no, wait a minute.
What?
Remember. No, they said, no. He says, remember, community property. And they all took a bite of my candy. I ended up with a little chunk.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So now I dropped them all off in Dallas. And the last guy that I dropped off was the bass player. His name was Earl. And I said, Earl, I said, good luck to you guys. He says, what do you mean? He says, I said, well, I'm gonna go on. He says, wait a minute, we may get a deal with Columbia Records. Buddy Holly set it up. We may get a deal with Columbia in New York. I said, you guys are, not me.
Wow.
All right.
So I said goodbye to him. I never saw him again, and they never did anything.
Serves them right for taking your Snickers.
Would have been different if they took it
See,
from
that's
me.
what happens when you take a Snickers from a celebrity like Trini Lopez, man. You go nowhere.
They make commercials with
You're
this.
going
Yeah, they go nowhere.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Now, Trini, you then came out here to Hollywood. What made you decide to come out to Los Angeles?
I always wanted to come to L.A. I always wanted to come to California, sunny California, since I was a kid. When I started making enough money to go to the movies, I used to love to see movies, and they were mainly about L.A., palm trees and mountains and all of that.
Right.
And I always enjoyed that very much. And so I said to myself, one day I'm going to go to L.A. And listen to this. You're not going to believe this, guys. Listen to this. By the grace of God, Buddy Holly gets killed. Buddy gets killed. I am now making $800 a week in Buddy Holly's hometown of Lubbock.
Wow.
Holy sh!
You believe that?
800.
And that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a lot of money now.
Yeah.
And I was working at the Millionaires Club in Lubbock, Texas, Buddy Holly's hometown.
Right.
So now the same disc jockey, Tommy Garrett, the same disc jockey that introduced me to Buddy in the first place,
right,
in that little town of Wichita Falls, Texas, he calls me up. He calls me up on an intermission. He says, Trini, this is Tommy. I said, hey, Tommy, how are you, man? He said, oh, I'm fine. He says, I'm here in L.A. I said, you're in L.A.? He was from Dallas, this guy.
Uh-huh.
He was a disc jockey in Dallas. And I said, You're in L.A.? He said, yeah. I said, what are you doing there? He said, you won't believe it, man. You're not going to believe it. Guess who I'm with? And guess who wants you to go on the road with him as soon as you can get to L.A.? I said, who? He said, the Crickets.
Wow.
You believe that, man?
Gee, so you came out to Los Angeles to be a part of the last two members of Buddy Holly's group?
Yeah. There was three left, three.
Now, was that with Waylon Jennings when Waylon Jennings was playing bass?
Well, there were some of the guys that joined Waylon Jennings later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get to Hollywood.
That's
I
amazing.
had $200 in my pocket because I gave all my money to my mom.
Because you're a good boy.
I love my parents. Love my parents. They were the greatest people in the whole world. I never finished high school. I had to quit in my junior year, to help my dad financially.
Wow.
But I learned more from my parents than any school I ever went to.
Wow, that's great.
They were so classy. They were so nice. They were so down to earth. Anyway, so So now, Tommy Garrett says to me, when can you come out? They're ready for you to come out here, and they want to start working. They want to go on the road and all of that. They want you to be their lead singer. And I said, oh, my God. I mean, I nearly dropped the phone, you know.
Wow.
And I said, is this for real, Tommy? He said, oh, yeah. He said, we're going to send you an airline ticket, and you come out here as soon as you can. When can you be here? I said, in about 2 weeks. He said, okay. I said, but I'll tell you what, Tommy. I said, send me the cash, and I'll drive to Hollywood.
There you go, because gas was cheaper. There you go. Yeah, easy way to do it.
Well, I mean, I wanted to stay there. I didn't want to go for a plane ticket and then come back in a month, you know. I said, no, I want to stay. Whatever happens, I want to stay in L.A.
And if they sent you the...
So I get to Hollywood, and they had a beautiful home. You know what a cliff-hanging home is in Hollywood?
Yes.
Okay. Overlooking the whole world up there. Beautiful, beautiful. The only problem was when I got there, the guys, the crickets were from Texas, and they love to drink. They love to drink, and they love to party. And, man, they had women all over the place. I didn't mind the women.
Okay.
But I didn't even drink anything in those days. Now I drink beer, but I didn't drink anything in those days. And I had $200 in my pocket. So now the guys were just partying every night for 2-3 weeks. And now I'm out of money. And I didn't want to borrow money from them. I was embarrassed. So I said to their agent, I said, it was Danny. I said, Danny, can you try and get me an audition somewhere in L.A. here, somewhere, so I can make some money? So because I don't want to borrow from the guys. And the guy says, oh, I didn't think he was going to do anything. He was a bit of a Hollywood character. Uh-huh. And he said, I'll see what I can do. I said, okay. About 3 days later, he comes over to the house. He says, Trini, there's an audition that I got for you. They want you to audition for a girl singer named Joni Summers.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
No.
She had a couple of hit records on Columbia. On Warner Brothers. A couple of hit records.
I'll have to look her up then.
And in her day at that time, and they want you to audition for her in a nightclub in Beverly Hills. I said, oh wow, Beverly Hills. Woo.
Trini's getting excited.
I'd never been to Beverly Hills in my life at that time.
Right.
And he says, I'll pick you up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I said, you got it. And I put my guitar and my amplifier in his beautiful car that he had in the trunk of his car, and we drove about 25 minutes to Beverly Hills. And oh man, you talk about beautiful. You talk about a beautiful city. So now we get to this real nice nightclub. They call it the Little Club. It was an English pub, English pub, and they call it the Ye Little Club in Beverly Hills. And so we walk in, and the owner of the place, he says, how you doing? How you doing? Okay. He says, okay, kid. He says, set up. So I set up my guitar, and there was a microphone there, and he says, okay, do your thing. So I started doing a song that was a big hit by a friend that I got to know later the rest of my life, Dean Martin. He had a hit record at that time called Sway. It went like this. When marimba rhythm starts to play, dance with me.
I love that
Sway
song.
with me.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that song?
Yes,
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
and I totally remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of his big hits. And so that's all I sang. I did about 8 bars. When marimba rhythm starts to play, dance with me, sway with me.
Skylar's 20 years old and she's dancing over here.
I love that song. It's awesome.
And he stopped me. He said, okay. And I looked at him, and I didn't think he liked me. He was kind of a brash guy in Hollywood character.
Right.
And he says, okay. He says, you open tonight.
Whoa.
I said,
Save
what?
your voice. You'll need it
He said,
tonight.
you're open tonight. I said, oh, no, sir. I said, I'm with a group called. He said, no. I don't want you with no group. I don't want you with a group. I just want you by yourself with your guitar and a spotlight.
Wow.
And you open tonight if you want it. And he says, and he looked at me. He says, "Take it or leave it." And he started to walk away. I said, "Excuse me." He turned around and says, "I'll take it." He said, "Okay." He says, "Everybody works here for 2 weeks. If they really like you, you stay 4 weeks. Nobody stays here more than 4 weeks." And I was working with people like Jack Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, they were on the way. They were on the way up the ladder of success like me.
Jesus.
And everybody stayed 4 weeks. Jack Jones stayed 4 weeks. All these jazz slingers, all these people stayed 4 weeks. Guess how long I stayed?
If my memory serves me correct, I think you were there for about a year and a half.
A year.
A year. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Trini, it's really interesting because hearing this story from you, you travel out here, you bring your guitar and everything, you go up on stage, you do this audition, you nail it.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, like you just said, it was just you by yourself, you and your guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, though. I know a lot of the songs that you did were a folkish type of songs. But yet,
well, there was some of that. I did everything. I did all kinds of songs.
But
I did a lot of folk because at that time, folk music was really in.
Okay, but you played it on an electric versus an acoustic. Was that a conscious decision that you made?
Yes, because I knew that I needed a big sound because nobody wanted to hire me in L.A. with not even a trio. They didn't want to pay the money.
Got it. Okay.
So I had to make the best I could out of my Gibson guitar, and that's where I learned to get a lot of rhythm. I even had a lot of backbeat and lead and everything. I did it all myself.
Wow, that's just amazing.
Because I had to. I didn't want to, but I had to.
Right. So how did you go from that club then to ending up at PJ's?
Okay, so because I stayed there a year, I kept hearing about all these different places that were doing real good in Hollywood. And by the way, the Crickets never did anything. They never had a hit record or anything anymore.
Right.
Nothing after Buddy. So anyway, so now I kept hearing about a place called PJ's. I kept reading about it in the trade papers. I used to pick up some trade papers, and I used to know that Sinatra went in there all the time. And I said, "Oh my God, Frank Sinatra, my idol!" And I wanted to just see him in person, walking down the street, and he would have made my whole life, But listen to this. By the grace of God, I started getting a big following at the Little Club, the Yale Little Club. I had the young Hollywood set. People like Connie Stevens.
Yeah.
Connie Francis. People like all this Bob Conrad, all these people that had series going and everything. But then I started hearing that PJ's was where all the higher echelon Hollywood A-listers went to that place. And I said to myself, I gotta work there.
Right.
And I just, it was mental. I got my mind set on that. And I said, I got to see Frank Sinatra in person. No, I don't care what happens.
Right.
And so listen to this, from the Little Club, I got offered to work for a lot of money at PJ's by myself with my guitar.
Jeez,
Wow.
So now listen to this, where they put me. They had 2 rooms I don't mind telling you this. They had 2 rooms at PJ's. You walk in, and that's a long, long bar with booths on the side. It was a very nice place. And they had listen to this, they had a 4-piece jazz combo, 4-piece jazz Afro combo.
Okay.
As you walk in. Now, guess where they put me? In the back, where the room sat at about 300 people.
Wow.
By myself with my guitar. No band, no drums, no nothing.
No pressure.
Well, I wish I had had some pressure because I could have used a drummer there or a bass player,
Yeah.
So they put me there, and I wasn't going to say anything,
Right.
And they booked me for 3 months, and I stayed a year and a half.
Wow. That's just amazing. Trini.
Just with my guitar. And in fact, when it was time to record, as time went by, Sinatra was coming in with his high class people, and the first time I saw him, oh God, I couldn't believe it. I didn't get any closer to him than 30 feet, but I wanted just to look at him, and I could see his hat, his beautiful clothes, and his beautiful jewelry and his rings and everything. And I saw him like that about 3-4 times and I never got close to him. I never went to say hello. I was too nervous.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Sean,
I
no
wasn't
surprise.
recording or anything, I was just a local musician.
Wow.
But he came 4 times to see me. On the 4th time, he sent one of his top record producers, Don Costa, to talk to me and offer me an 8-year recording contract.
8 year?
8 years on Reprise Records.
Now, that was the label that Sinatra started, right?
That's a label that he started, and I used to read a lot about the trade papers about what was going on in Hollywood, and I read that Sinatra was losing his, he had Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., all these big stars, but nobody was selling any records. So now they wanted to sign me up for 8 years, and by the grace of God, I recorded my first album, and that's the biggest seller, multi-million seller, with just me and my guitar on a lot of those songs in my album, Trini Lopez at PJ's.
Jeez, Trini. Now, let me ask you this then, Trini. So at that point, what is it that you think that drew Sinatra to you then? That for him to go to this other producer and say, sign this kid. What was it?
Oh, sign him up, yeah. I have no idea, Sean. I'm a real sincere guy. I don't like to flatter myself at all because my parents were that way.
Right.
But I just, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. He liked me right away. And then I got to tell you this. Now we're recording. My first album, and Don Costa says, Trini, we're going to record here at PJ's. I said, what? He said, we're going to record here. I said, here at this nightclub? He said, yeah. I said, may I ask you why can't we go to a studio? I couldn't wait to go to a studio on Sunset Boulevard, on Sunset Strip, to record in one of those beautiful studios that everybody was recording, Sinatra, everybody.
Right.
And he said, I'll never forget this. He said, Trini, we want to record all of the excitement that you are creating here at PJ's. We want to put it on wax. I said, well, that makes sense.
Wow. And it
said,
obviously
okay.
worked.
Yeah, I said, but I said, Don, because I knew I had a long contract with him now. I said, but Don, do me a favor. The next album, we got to go into a studio. He said, you got it. I said, okay. So if I had a hammer, went on to be number 1 in 38 countries.
God.
Wow.
The Bombe was famous all over the world, and to this day, I have sold over 100 million records.
Wow. Very few people get to say that, I think, even by today's standards.
Yep.
Because, you hear these numbers of, it sold 40 million records or this or that or whatever, but, but no one, it's rare now that anybody will reach that 100 million, marker nowadays.
Yeah, not even 100 million. That's a rarity. And I have 81 albums out to date, 81 CDs.
How in the heck do you have so many?
I just like to record, I guess.
Wow, Trini.
So
Hey, you got into the recording studio and you wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to. My latest album is an album called, and I'd like to send it to you, Sean, if I may.
Oh, please. I'll come to your house and pick it up.
I'll drive.
Thank you. My latest album, I helped write all the songs in the album, and it's called Trini Lopez, all original songs.
So you're now doing originals after all this time?
After all this time.
What took you so long, Trini, to do that?
Yeah. And guess what my next album's going to be? This is going to really surprise you guys. Guess what my next album is going to be?
Instrumentals?
I'm going to be doing it in about another month or two.
Okay.
Trini Lopez sings Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Now that'll be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to come to one of those sessions then.
It's cooler than cool, Steve.
Okay, man. Okay.
Wow, that is just, I mean, 81 albums? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 81. Yeah.
And Trini, how old are you right now?
81.
You are 81 and
my
you've
gosh.
done 81 albums.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing an album a year your entire life?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I never thought of that.
Wow.
Holy
That's
cow.
amazing. And you still have a voice to sing with.
Yeah.
I'm singing better than ever, guys. Right now I have a bit of a sore throat because the hot weather here, and it's very humid in Palm Springs. I have a bit of a sore throat. But I'm singing, thank God, man, by the grace of God. I'm singing better than ever.
Gee, that's awesome, Trini. That really is. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that is really amazing.
Sean, when we finish doing this interview, please stay on the line and give me your address, and I'll mail it to you. My secretary will mail it to you.
Absolutely. Definitely will. Definitely will.
Okay.
Let me ask you this now, Trini. Obviously, Frank was a big influence on you, not just as a person. He was your idol and everything. He helped you get, he signed you to his record label.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if Frank wasn't there? Do you think you still would have had the career that you've had, but just everything would have been delayed, or do you think it was just, what do you think you would be today?
The only answer I can give you is it would have been delayed, I think. Because let me tell you, I forgot to tell you this. Well, I'm at PJ's for a year and a half, and during that interim, Sinatra's coming in to see me. But before Sinatra started hearing about me, his valet, George Jacobs, who just put out a book on Frank Sinatra's life, he told Sinatra, he said, you got to come and hear this kid, Frank. You got to come and hear this kid. He's going to blow you away. And so that because of his valet, he started coming to PJ's to see me. But a lot of people were talking about me. And listen to this. Before Sinatra gave me my 8-year recording contract, I got an offer to record for a new label coming out called, Fred Astaire's daughter. I can't think of her name right now. Beautiful lady. I met her when I was at the Little Club, and she really liked me, and she became my fan. So now I'm at PJ's, and the daughter of Fred Astaire told Mr. Astaire about me. So Mr. Astaire sent an executive to offer me a recording contract on Ava. Her name was Ava. Thank God I remember. Ava Records. Yeah, Ava Records. Would you believe it? And you know what I did? I said, please tell Mr. Astaire that I'm his biggest fan, but I can't do that. I'm just so sorry, but I can't. And the guy looked at me like I was crazy. And so now he walked away. About a month later, listen to this, before Sinatra, a month later, I'm at PJ working 6 days a week, 3-4 shows a night, and I never repeated a song. The whole night, from 9 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning.
Holy cow, Trini.
So now listen to this. So now another guy walks up to me. He says, Mr. Lopez, my name is Moss, Mr. Moss. I said, oh, Mr. Moss, hello. He says, I'm with a new label. My name is Jerry Moss. I'm with a new label, and it's called A&M Records. And at that time, A&M Records, I barely heard of them. He said, have you heard of Herb Alpert? I said, you mean the trumpet player? He says, yeah. He said, well, he's my partner. He's Herb Alpert, A for Alpert, and my name is Jerry Moss for A&M. He said, we're starting a brand new label. We got a brand new big studio. We'd like to sign you up. And I said, oh, Mr. Moss. I said, thank you very much. I said, I'm very flattered, but thank you. I'm sorry I can't do that. And you know why I turned down those 2 labels before Sinatra? Because I wanted to go with a real bigger label. These companies were just getting started.
Yeah, because, I think at that time, too, because Sinatra only had his label out, I think, by the time he signed you for about 3-4 years, correct? Or
yeah, he only had it about 2 years at that time, but they weren't selling any records. But Sinatra was getting a lot of publicity because he owned the label.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man. There's only one Frank Sinatra.
That's some gutsy moves, though, Trini. I mean, to pass up on 2 labels, especially A&M Records.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
They went on to beat, of course, big time.
Right.
Fred Astaire's company never got off the ground, but A&M, of course, did.
Yeah, I mean, they lasted for, another, 20, 30 years, I think, before they finally went under.
Oh, yeah.
Trini, you were, like, in the middle as your career started to progress and everything. You were in the middle of the golden age of Hollywood. I mean, you got to know some of the biggest names in Hollywood. I mean, obviously Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Elvis, Bob Hope, Jack Benny. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. During that whole time, did you ever feel like, geez, I don't know if I'm really a part of this group or not? Did you?
Well, because of my age, I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
All these people were in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
So you were hanging out with fogies.
And they were legends, all these big stars. I mean, I got an autograph from God, what's the name of that? What's the name of that lady that was the first Marilyn Monroe in Hollywood? Mae West.
Oh, Mae West. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I got an autograph picture from Mae West.
Wow.
I mean, I got autographs. You don't believe the stars from the 30s and 40s. And I kept saying to God, I said, God, thank you so much for allowing me to get to Hollywood when I did, because if not, I would have missed the golden age of Hollywood.
No, that's very true, Trini. And I think it's just amazing because it just seemed like you were very humble at the time and wondering, geez, do I belong here? Do I not belong here? But yet you seem like
I wasn't sure about that, but I said I gotta try, man. And I prayed a lot, guys. I prayed a lot.
I can imagine, and I think your prayers got answered, Trini.
Oh, ever. To this day, God loves me very much.
Yes, I think so.
That's great. Trini, in my past, I had a brother-in-law who worked for a guitar shop, and he started to make musical instruments, and he actually made a mandolin that the group Seals and Croft happened to be in town in Sacramento when we lived there, and they came into a shop looking for a mandolin, and he showed them the one he had made, and they fell in love with it and took it. So there's a lot of musical history, not just in the performing, but also in what you use. And apparently you got the opportunity to design a couple of different guitars for Gibson.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What made that happen?
Again, by the grace of God. By the grace of God. My father, I forgot to tell you, when my father went to that pawn shop and bought that $12 guitar, would you believe it was a Gibson guitar?
Wow.
It was a Gibson. Little did I know that 20 years later, 18 years later, whatever, they would come up to me. I was in Chicago, appearing at a beautiful, beautiful nightclub in Chicago, and the big shots from Gibson Corporation came up and had a meeting with me, and they said, Mr. Lopez, we'd like to know if you would be interested in designing your own model for Gibson. And I nearly dropped the phone. And I nearly fell down, too, when I was talking to them.
So would I.
Oh, God, I couldn't believe it. So now I designed the guitar from, and it was a big success. And that's the guitar that I play. I call it the Jazz model. It's a deluxe, Gibson Deluxe, and they're still selling today. And then about 2 years later, Gibson Corporation called me again. And they said, Mr. Lopez, we'd like to know if you would like to design another guitar for us. I said, you know what? You're not going to believe this. I've been thinking about it, and I would like to design a guitar for the rock and roll guys.
Okay.
The rock and roll guitar players.
Right.
And they said, that's a good idea. I said, okay, let's do it. And I did, and that's the standard. They call it the standard Gibson guitar. And guess who plays it? Guess who loves it? Besides David Grohl and the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like, let's see, God, so many of them, if I can remember.
Well, that was
if
just
you
it.
guys have heard of anybody that plays my guitar, please tell me.
Yeah, no, that was just it, Tree, because, I did not know, and I'm a guitar guy myself. I mean, I've been playing for 30 years myself, and I did not know that you had your own signature guitar until I saw an interview with Dave Grohl, and that he was saying that he based his model off of your model. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going,
yeah.
you know-
Another guy that played my guitar, is a pretty popular guitar player, is Paul McCartney's guitar player for Wings.
oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah, and 3 or 4 more go. Bono's guitar player.
Yeah, The Edge from U2. And then
Yes,
I also
yeah.
found out that Lindsey Buckingham
That's
also
right.
plays on your guitar. So why do you
That's
think...
just what.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
That's someone. I went and saw Fleetwood Mac a few years ago at the Honda Center, and just watching Lindsey Buckingham play the guitar is a life treat in and of itself. The way he does that, the way it sounds, and the uniqueness of how he uses that guitar is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, He makes me want to put mine down and just say forget it. You know?
Well, don't put it down. Don't put it down.
No. But you know, Trini, after all this time, and I did do a little bit of research on it, that I believe obviously Les Paul is a part of Gibson.
Yeah.
And you know, his Les Paul guitar is obviously famous, but yours is right behind his as the one most popular selling guitar.
Me and Les Paul.
What do you think makes your signature guitar model so interesting? Why do you think guitars are drawn to your model?
Oh my God! Can you believe me and Les Paul in the same sentence?
Well, you've done an awful lot of praying, my friend. So you know what? Yes, I can.
Oh God! I'm just amazed, and I thank God. I get on my knees every night, by the way, and I thank God for everything.
Well, that's wonderful. But why do you think guitars nowadays, especially like more modern guitars today, Trini, are drawn to your guitar? Why do you think that is?
They took a liking to it right away. The feel of the neck, the action of the guitar, on and on. I mean, it's a lot of technical things. But listen to this. After all these years have gone by, I got a call. I swear to you, I got a call about a week ago from a lady in Nashville, Tennessee, because Gibson Corporation is in Nashville now.
Yes, yeah. I've actually been to their factory. It's a very nice
have
factory.
you?
Yes, it's really nice.
How about that?
Yeah.
They want to revamp my guitar again.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to send me a new contract.
Oh, exciting.
How the hell about that?
That's cool. Wow.
Oh my God!
81 albums and a new guitar
And
from
get to
Trini
do a new
Lopez,
guitar.
and it's 2018.
Just keep
Yeah.
dishing them out.
Wow. God, boy, that's awesome, Trini. That is just totally neat. Your career then kind of moved in from the 60s going into the 70s, and it seemed like I read somewhere you kind of did like a semi-retirement.
Yeah,
A little bit.
I retired in 1981.
Why did you do that? Was it just because you were getting a little bit tired of the traveling, or was it because the music was changing so much? Why did you make that decision?
It's a very simple question. It's a very simple question. I didn't get tired. I could still do my shows right now if I wanted to, all over the world if I wanted to. But in 1981, I was so bored with all the traveling. Everything, first class, everything, from the limos to the airplanes to the hotels to the castles, on and on and on. And I got bored with the traveling.
Wow.
Not the singing on stage, man. I'm the happiest when I'm on stage.
Right.
But it wasn't the entertainment. It wasn't the entertaining that I got bored with. I got bored with all the travel. I had to get up early. I don't like to get up early.
No kidding.
Yeah,
So
really.
Steve's the same way. You know?
Exactly. If I'm up before 11 or 12, there's something wrong.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to be at a point in my life where I'm bored with that sort of thing.
Well, I hope that you will succeed and do that, because there's not a bigger pleasure than sleeping late.
I'm proud to say I slept till 1:45 today just because I
That's
could.
right. Yeah.
You got up an hour before Trini did.
I did. Me and Trini are buds.
You know why I like to sleep so much too? When you are sleeping, you don't know from nothing.
Well, that's true. That's it. Yeah, no problems there.
Yeah, we have. Steve has that look on his face all the time every time he comes to the studio. So
I just woke up.
We don't have the nerve to tell him he's having a nightmare.
Trini, earlier we briefly talked about Sinatra and how of a big influence he was for you. Did you ever take anybody under your wing, though?
That's really interesting. I have never had. I've seen a lot of great talent out there. Oh, I used to see it all the time from the beginning. From the beginning, I used to see it all the time, and I would just tell them, "Hey, man, keep it up. You're great. You're great." Because I was never into a record company. I was never into that part of the business. I was too busy with my own career.
Got it.
I used to travel. For 20 years straight, all over the world. 20 years all over the world, without a vacation.
No wonder you got 81 albums. Jiminy Crickets.
Yeah. I stayed busy. I've always stayed busy.
Yeah. I earlier tonight I did a little bit more research on you and everything, and I came across that was something that was very interesting. Last year, you were inducted into the Dallas Songwriters Association Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Do you think you will ever get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, everybody asks me that all the time. I think they're prejudiced. I think they're prejudiced.
There's a good reason.
Yeah. It's funny because we have a friend of ours who comes on the show every now and then, and he actually does something very unique, Trini. He actually breaks down songs. And his name is Christian James Han, and what he does is he'll take a song, a famous song, and let you hear, let's say a Beatles song, for example, and you'll hear just the bass, and then you'll hear just the drums, and just to hear the talent of each individual musician and everything.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion with him because we had him in the week of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was being inducted. And one of my favorite bands was being inducted, which is Bon Jovi. And he goes, I just don't feel like they need to be deserved to be in there. And I asked him, well, why? He goes, it's a difference between influence and popularity. He goes, yes, they've had a wonderful career and they deserved everything that they've owned because of their career. But as far as how much of an influence were they to the music industry? And I said, you know what? Based upon that, I can understand, his point of view. But for you, I think there was something unique in where you did influence, I think, an awful lot of people out there because there were not that many, again, Latino performers out there.
Yeah.
And to show that, to say, hey, yes, a Latino can go out and do it. And not change his name like Richie Valens did,
Yeah.
And everything. I think that says something, and I think it instilled a lot of things. So I pray by that you do get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for that influence. I really
Thank
do.
you very much. I wouldn't mind. It's a great publicity, and I certainly have influenced a lot of people, a lot of musicians, and a lot of fans all over the world. My fan base, guys, on the internet. Oh my God, day and night, all over the world.
Oh, I love that, Trini. I love that.
I mean, I have fan clubs in Russia, for Christ's sake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Afghanistan, Arabia, on and on. I mean, you won't believe the countries. Australia. God, I can't even name the countries. There's so many.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? What I like about what's going on with me? I just thought of it. People just don't forget. They don't forget about me. When I retired in '81, I went to my house where I had this house now that burned not too long ago.
Right.
I went into my home, and I just closed the door, and I stayed in there for a year. I just didn't go anywhere for a whole year by myself.
Wow.
I want to do that right now.
But listen to this. The phone started ringing again.
Really?
Wow, that's really something.
The phone started ringing again.
That's amazing, Trini.
Yeah. When the movie La Bamba came out, it was during those days when the movie La Bamba came out. The phone started ringing, and they said, Mr. Lopez, is your life story coming out in a movie? And I said, not that I know of.
No, it's that other Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
And
course,
I
he
said,
had
well,
to-
there's a movie it's coming out called La Bamba. I said, oh, that's probably about Richie Valens.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you know what?
But just to go, hey, guys, just to go on record.
Yes, sir.
I used to sing La Bamba before Richie Valens did, 10, 15 years before he recorded it.
Really?
Because I was a little older than Richie. My father taught me that song. That's one of the first songs my dad taught me when I was a kid.
Wow. And he beat you
And
to
then,
the punch.
when I heard the record, La Bamba, on the radio, I said, oh, God, I was real upset. I was really hurt. I said, oh, no,
Not
somebody
my
beat me to
Richie.
it. But little did I know that 2-3 years later, I would record it myself, and I made it bigger than Richie Valens worldwide.
That's true. That's very true.
Now, Trini, not don't take anything weird about what I'm about to say, but you know, as we reach the end of our lives, and as we look forward into whatever there may or may not be after we pass on, we think about what we've done overnight. Now, obviously, you've had like an amazing life, done a lot of things, met a lot of people. And probably influence a lot more people than I'm sure you realize. But what do you personally want to be remembered for?
I just want to be remembered as a nice person.
There you are.
That's all. That's all.
And I would venture a guess personally that Trini, that's why you are that popular.
I think so too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
There is a saying that I always liked when I first saw it a long time ago. It's a beautiful saying, and I hope you guys will remember it. The saying goes like this: it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
There you go.
Spoken from a legend himself, Mr. Trini Lopez. Trini, I can't tell you, again, as I said before, I can't tell you what this interview means to me personally.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Being a musician, growing up, you know, it's so funny because my parents were graduated high school in 1957 and 1958, so they were at the beginning of rock and roll. And, you know, their tastes were completely different. But one thing that they did enjoy, and I always enjoyed hearing stories about them going to PJs, watching you perform. You know, and like I said earlier, my parents bought the record. I had to listen to it as a kid, to the point that I actually wore out the record.
Oh, that's great.
You know, it started skipping, and not because I didn't know how to put the needle on, but because I literally wore out the record.
Oh, that's very flattering.
And for my mom's birthday a couple of years ago, I actually found another original reprise record of Trini Lopez live at PJ's, and now that hangs in my mother's hallway.
Oh, really? Are your parents still alive?
My mom is. Unfortunately, I lost my father about 10 years ago.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
But they, like I said, Trini, they would go down to PJ's, watch you perform, enjoyed it, and they pass on those stories to me. So for me to sit here and hear your voice, talk to you, and for all of us to hear these wonderful stories, it is such an honor to have you on our podcast, and I'm going to treasure this for the rest of my life. I know I will. And
thank you.
And I
thank
cannot.
you very much. I'm very flattered, and I thank you just as much as you thank me.
Thank you, Trini. And I cannot wait to go out to Palm Springs and see one of your concerts and meet you in person.
Okay, I don't work that much, but we can party anyway.
Well, there you go.
Hey, you know what? We'll bring the beer.
Yeah, man.
I'll bring the girls.
Budweiser.
Budweiser, okay?
I do too.
Oh, well, Mr. Lopez, thank you so much again, and we appreciate it. And congratulations on your 81st record, and I can't wait to hear the next one when you do Frank Sinatra.
Thank you very much.
songs.
Show applause.
Say hello to your friends. They seem to be nice people, I can tell.
Thank you so much, Trini.
It was such a pleasure talking to you, Trini, and you are a good guy, and I will always remember that.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trini. It was very nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, Trini.
And Sean, stay on the line so I can get your address.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Okay.
Alrighty, and that wraps it up, guys. And yeah, we'll kind of take it from there.
When I was just a lad of 10, my father said to me, come here and take a lesson from the lovely lemon tree. Don't put your faith in love, my boy, my father said to me. I fear you'll find that love is like the lovely lemon tree. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flowery sweet. But the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.
Well, there you go, guys. That's the interview with Trini. What do you
a
think?
great guy. Really,
fun.
just
He was
it
so
was
cool.
such a pleasure to talk to him. I'm really impressed.
It was, and it's one of the most memorable interviews to
Wow.
speak with a living legend.
Oh, yeah.
like
Did you
him.
finally get to tell your mom about the surprise?
You know what? I did.
You did?
I finally told her. Actually, yeah, I told her about it, and yeah.
I especially enjoyed when he was talking about how he wanted people to remember him. Just a great
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, that was because he kind of got choked up on it. You know, I just, outside of the music, what do you want to be remembered for? And it was, that I was a nice guy.
Let us know when you get that CD.
So, oh, absolutely. And one thing too, we probably want to try and do, I think, is because he did mention about the Frank Sinatra CD. Maybe at some point, Zach also contacting his assistant and seeing if we can do a second interview in the middle of the sessions while he's doing that. And maybe
Okay.
we could drive out to Palm Springs this time. And
That'd be fun.
Not that you're gonna ask me to do something crazy like get a hold of his assistant and see if we can bring Frank Sinatra from the grave and ask him some questions. Because
I'm not that Polish, dude.
no.
Well, apparently Trini Lopez already raised from the grave.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I was thinking.
Well,
We're that good. So,
let's try for better.
That's why Skylar is. That's why Skylar is the intern who provides the information
There you go.
that we miss.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you guys ready to play the game?
I was born ready.
Wow.
I'm just waiting for you to push that button so I
Okay.
can start running. Here we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Push
there
it.
we go.
Push it.
All right.
Thank you.
That's him running. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for Quiz Me, Quiz You.
All right, we know how to play this game. Skylar, you got all the questions, girl. Let's
I got
start
all
them
the
off.
questions. Question number 1. Which city is located in both Asia and Europe?
Zach.
Zach.
Bangkok.
No. Isn't that in China?
Yeah, I know. I screwed it up.
Both Asia and Europe?
Europe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got to think Europe and then Russia, like that. That conjoining little area. That's what I'm thinking. Somewhere in the middle of it.
You want a hint?
Yeah, give us a hint.
It's in Turkey.
Steve,
I
Steve.
got it now.
Istanbul.
Istanbul, you are correct.
Steve, there we go.
Do-do-do-do.
Steve cheated.
No, he didn't.
He looked it up.
He
Yep.
did not.
He's super fast with that Google.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
seen his thumbs? Have you ever seen him
Yes.
text?
Look, I don't have a
Probably
lot
got
so I can
through.
use
Have
his
you ever
ammunition.
seen him text?
Yeah, we had this discussion where he's.
It's one finger at a time, dude. There's no way. Trust me.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
bitter.
All right,
wish I was
Skylar. Go ahead,
that
Skylar.
Question number 2. The Great Famine in Ireland was due to the collapse
Steve.
of
Sean.
what crop? Steve.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Correct.
Damn, Steve's going hard.
Steve's on a roll.
Steve's 2 for
okay.
2.
I'm scared.
It's a
Question number
Kaiser roll.
3. What year was the original Ghostbusters movie
Zach.
released?
Sean.
Zach.
1984.
There you go.
It's on my arm.
Ooh.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Cool.
Who are you going
Okay.
to call?
You know what's funny too is like Anna made me watch the remake of Ghostbusters on FX the other night.
How was it?
I
the women?
I saw it once in the movie theater with a different girl I was dating. She bought the tickets, popcorn, and soda. That's the only reason I agreed to do it. Look, I'm not bashing any feminism of any type. It's just they shouldn't have been made. Why? Even Bill Murray's cameo was so played down and stupid.
Really?
Yeah, and then everyone else, it's just it would be like remaking Back to the Future. Like, why would you need to do that? There's nothing that needs to be remade. Sorry, I'm angry.
Okay, all right. So you liked it.
An angry young man.
I loved it about as much as I love a root canal.
And he's had 3 of those. So all right,
I've had
cool.
none.
All right, Skylar, what question are we on?
Number 4.
Sure.
What is the name of the rolling droid in the latest Star Wars trailer?
Steve.
Sean.
Zach.
BB-8.
There you go.
Hey.
Wow, Zach and Steve are neck and neck.
I'm only winning because of movies.
I'm nowhere.
Yeah, sorry, Sean.
That's okay.
Question
I had to
number
remember
5.
what name to say.
My gosh, Steve. What
That's it.
country makes Porsche cars?
Steve.
Zach.
Steve.
Germany.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Or
Wow.
Porsche?
Porsche.
I could never know how to
Porsche
say
or
it.
Porsche?
People like to say Porsche because they think it's cool.
Yeah.
But
You say
the actual
Porsche.
pronunciation,
Cool.
the actual pronunciation of it, and what they use in their commercials is Porsche.
But if I ever
well,
see a
nobody
guy
says
driving
Paris, but that's how you say it.
It is.
Everyone says Paris.
if I ever see a guy driving a Porsche, a red Porsche, I go like, "Oh, look at your cute little Porsche," because it does look like a chick car.
All right.
Wow, this is actually a very international quiz.
Yeah, with movies.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, question number 6.
How many do
How
I
do you
have?
say 0?
All right.
Well, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Although
everything in the game.
You can't lose points. So,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
how do you say hello in Mandarin Chinese?
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Japanese.
Can I call a friend?
Oh my God.
Let's see how fast my Google skills work.
Sean.
Hey.
Sean.
Sean,
Hing Chao?
you got the vowels more or less right.
Hing Chao. Hing Chao.
Look how
I'll give it
fast.
to you.
Why
I'll
are
give
you
it
looking
to
it
you.
up, Zach? It's freaking
I'll give it
cheating.
to him. It's ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni
Oh,
hao.
I got it. It was
Ni hao.
loading.
And I made the worst joke once, and I said the only Chinese that I know how to say is ni howdy.
Oh.
But you were in Western China, right?
Ha ha ha.
It's like Shanghai
Ni hao.
Skylar.
Yeah, sure. I tried languages that aren't Romance languages or English with Greek, and it didn't work. So
Yeah.
I
Those
don't
are the
think
same.
I'm gonna
I
be
can
learning
say
Chinese.
good morning in Japanese.
How do you say good morning in Japanese?
Ohio.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hello is just konnichiwa.
Yeah. Hello, it's konnichiwa.
If you
never
want to
knew it was
say,
Ohio.
if you want to say
Ohio.
just plain like what, like in surprise, like what? It's just nani. Japanese.
Wow.
I watch a lot of. I love anime.
Did you
sorry.
know that? Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but did you know that Japanese has an onomatopoeia for staring?
What's an onomatopoeia?
It's where it's like it's supposed to sound
Don't
like
look
the
at me,
word
Steve.
like kabloom. Like the word
Like-
sounds like what
Like
the
zing.
sound that it makes.
What it
Or
Like
does.
zing
Oh.
or
ding.
swish. But it's funny because staring doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
Unless you blink.
But it still
weird.
doesn't really make noise. Anyway, my friend speaks Japanese, and she was telling me about all the onomatopoeias and how there is one for staring, even though
Wow, that's weird.
I wanna
it
learn
doesn't make any
Japanese.
noise.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, what question are we on?
Okay, question number 7.
Konnichiwa.
Hello.
Wow.
What are the 4 fundamental forces of nature?
Zach.
Sean.
Zach.
Earth, wind, fire, water.
Those are the elements.
Oops.
Sean.
I was actually going to say the same thing. That's my favorite
okay.
band. Wait a minute, though.
Like according to physics.
Oh.
Okay, the 4 elements?
Hey,
No,
hey,
the 4
Siri.
fundamental forces of nature. No.
Okay,
Just
wi-
tell
wind?
me 2 of them.
Wind?
Just tell me. No, wind isn't one of them. 2
Yeah.
forces of nature.
Steve.
Steve.
Heat.
No.
Because Steve has this look on him like, I got it, you bitches. You're going to
What?
take it.
As,
Forces of nature.
Forces of
Hey,
nature.
Siri, what are the 4
No,
forces of nature?
stop.
No. No.
Stop.
Looking it up.
Momentum.
No, that's not even a force. Momentum is force times mass. Or
Well,
force
force would be
mass-
Force time meth.
No, mass times velocity.
Movement, acceleration.
So force over acceleration times velocity.
The four forces of nature?
Do you want to hear? Do you want me to tell them to you?
Acceleration?
No.
Acceleration isn't a force.
You're stumped us.
Speed.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead, spell it.
Gravity,
Okay.
electromagnetism, and the strong nuclear force and the weak nuclear force.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to.
Yeah.
There's no way
I'm
anyone in this room would have got
sorry.
this.
Can I get a quarter point for I
sorry.
actually thought gravity was one of them? I just didn't say it.
No. No.
You didn't say it though.
Was that the last question?
No, that was 7. We still have 3 more.
Oh my God!
Three
Okay.
questions. Holy cow.
All right, let's go.
Is that you censoring yourself?
8. In what country was the Chinese takeout box invented?
Sean,
Sean.
United States.
There you go, Sean. You got one.
Yay!
I thought I thought she was gonna say fortune cookie, but then I realized that too.
Was also made in the United States.
Yeah. Chinese food is really just American food.
Yeah.
Question number 9.
Unless you're in China.
It's delicious.
But they actually have Chinese-American Chinese restaurants in China.
Wow.
Well, I guess you wouldn't. I guess I could
Chinese
expect
American.
Say
Chinese
that again?
Restaurants.
I think I put one too many Chineses in there. I think it's American Chinese restaurants in China. Because it's so different.
There you go.
Okay. Question number 9.
This is
You
also
already did the thing.
Okay,
exciting.
question number 9.
What is the fastest land snake in the world?
Steve,
Steve.
the Sidewinder.
I don't know what that is.
That's a good guess.
Zach.
Zach.
Cobra.
No.
That is the
Garden snake.
It's called a Sidewinder. It's a certain, I believe, certain kind of rattlesnake that lives in the desert.
Yeah.
I believe Skylar has the answers.
No. Let's see. Okay,
Well,
Sean.
well,
Sean,
wait a
I'll say
Sean.
I'll say rattlesnake.
Mm-mm.
No.
It's the black mamba.
Oh,
Really?
huh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's so hot. Black mamba.
Yeah. Well, hey,
How about that?
There it
Whatever goes for you, Zach. It's weird that you find a snake hot, but okay.
is. I didn't say that. I said the name Black Mamba. See, if Steve said it, you
That-
would have been
of
like,
course
"Oh,
that-
that's Steve."
Yeah, well, that has to do with Kobe Bryant. So that just lets us know that Zach's got something going on for Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's clearly it.
Hey, you said it. It's on the air. You
right.
said it.
It's got to be one fast snake if it beats a Sidewinder.
Yeah, no kidding.
Steve's still
Yeah.
on the side one.
All right. Last question.
Last question. So we know that Mount Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus over the Serengeti in Africa. But in what country? This was probably too hard to keep for the last one.
You say Kilimanjaro?
Yeah.
Isn't that Zach?
Zach.
Japan?
That's
It's in
Mount
Africa.
Fuji.
Oh, it's Fuji. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's a country in Africa. And Steve,
Steve.
I don't know if that's that's the. I was thinking Serengeti, but
You know
that's
what's
not the country.
You know what's
That's
going through my head right now?
It's over the Serengeti Desert, I think. I don't
The
know.
song Toto, Africa by
Toto.
Toto. That's what's going through my
That's
head
what
right
I
now.
said. We know Mount Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus over the Serengeti
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Africa. But
Right.
in what country?
It's
What
just-
country? I
yeah,
know.
It's Steve,
God, I'm stupid.
Steve.
Zimbabwe.
Close.
That's a good guess.
Geographically, I think. I don't know. I don't know my African geography. I know that this country also was the basis
Chad?
for many of the Lion King
Oh.
stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. This was a hard question to end with.
Shoot, I'm trying to think. I can see the continent. I can see the outlines. I can see the. Oh my gosh.
I can't.
Yeah, I can't do it either. All right, what is it?
Zach?
Oh no, I'm out.
Oh, you're out. Okay. Tanzania.
Oh.
I see what she means by Steve being close.
Geographically, I'm going to look up a map of Zimbabwe and Tanzania.
And see where
Because I think
they're
they're
at.
close to each other.
Why don't we just go to Zimbabwe and do the show there?
You want to book it for us?
Would you all commit?
I would love to go. Zimbabwe has great music.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay.
All
I'll
right,
get on it.
Hey, let's go. Let's see what we can do.
I won the lottery last night.
Okay,
So
I'm trying to look it up.
Okay.
Zimbabwe is in. Okay,
Africa?
so they're close. They're both in southern Africa, southeastern Africa. They're separated by Zambia and Mozambique and Malawi.
Mozambique.
Malawi. That's fun
Sort
to
of
say.
all in a
So is
row.
Mozambique. So Mozambique.
I'm gonna go to Malawi.
Just on the other side of the Serengeti.
Or Malawi.
That's Malawi.
I don't know how to say it.
Close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, so
Ah.
they're close-ish.
Ish. Yeah.
Ish.
I'm digging it. Either way.
In case, because you guys can't see me, I'm totally like rocking this song.
I
with my
believe
head.
it. I totally believe it. Oh.
Steve's shirt's off again. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
It goes out the
Every
window.
week.
I'm not getting it this time.
Oh man, it's hot.
Yeah.
Well, that was very exciting.
Yes, it was. It was very exciting. So, guys, go out there, have a beautiful weekend. Be careful with the smoke out there. It is covering most of Orange County and starting to head towards LA County. I think by the time
everywhere. It's
it's
really
everywhere.
bad.
It's really, really bad. So,
Driving towards
yeah,
it.
please be careful out there with it. But in the meantime, the rest of everybody else, please try to have a beautiful weekend. Next week, we will be at the Hot Sauce Expo, and that's in Garden Grove, I believe, right?
Okay, now
I believe it's Anaheim. Actually.
Oh, Anaheim?
Anaheim, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The way you said that, did you mean it was the Hot Sauce Expo? Or is it the Hot Sauce Expo?
Yes.
It's both.
It's both.
Yes.
Hot
So it's a
sauce.
hot sauce expo, but it's
Expo.
also a sauce expo that's hot.
All right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can go both ways.
Either way, Steve's going to like it no matter what.
Love it.
So.
Oh, yeah.
He's licking his lips
If
right
I'm
now.
into anything at all, it's hot sauce.
Alrighty, guys, so we're going to catch you next week. Don't forget, our show's website is yourweeklydose.com. Our Facebook page is Your Weekly Dose. Twitter and Instagram is Your Weekly Dose 1. You can follow me, Sean, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at the same handle, which is Sean Roberts HC.
My Twitter is @SilvaLining69.
And then if you want to follow Phoebe on Twitter, her is PX Limbo. Grace's Twitter, which is Gal About Town YWD. And on our Instagram, sometimes you can kind of catch some behind-the-scenes footage of what we're doing and everything, which is kind of cool. And not only that, though, but shoot, I forgot what I was going to say now. Damn it. Oh, well, it went in and it went right back out. But, hey, that's
Must
okay.
not have been important.
Must not have been.
I had to duck because it went right by my
It
head.
did. Steve went, wait, what was that? Yeah,
Where's your little kazoo?
Kazoo. Who was Kazoo?
Oh, that was the guy on the Flintstones.
That's right.
Hello, Dum Dum.
Hello, Dum Dum.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So
I'm
anyway,
lost.
You know.
take care. Have a good one. We'll catch you guys next week.
Goodbye, world.
Be good
Bye.
humans.